This is an op-ed. If you don't like it, build a bridge and get the fuck over it. Every time there's a tragic gun crime or shooting in the United States, the news outlets here run endless articles that turn into political debates over the next few weeks. Social media gets their clicks, mouthy politicians get their 15 minutes, and I get to bruise my forehead with a trillion face bumps that happen when I read the comment sections. I'm Australian. And I am sorry. I'm sorry for all the Karen, holier-than-thou comments under pictures of people living the worst day of their lives. I'm sorry for the insincere tears and thoughts and prayers, and the nonsensical anger at regular American citizens wanting to maintain their right to bear arms. True. By many. By often. You have to understand, my fellow countrymen are retarded. Retarded/retarded/adjective, retarded offensive dated less advanced in mental, physical, or social development than is usual for one's age. But that's exactly what they are. Australians are retarded. We are a very young country, we have a history, but not like many other places in the world. We have a short, recorded, history to reference, make decisions based on, to look out for pitfalls. We, people, politicians etc., don't have enough experience/enough history for it to repeat to the point where people notice, and learn from it. But that's coming, pieces of it are beginning to trickle through on other subjects besides this one. Today, class, I'm here to talk about guns. And not the kind you flex when girls walk in. It's a polarizing and complicated issue for most. I'll keep it very short. Australia lost their right to guns after a mass shooting in Tasmania, an island state in Australia. The Port Arthur massacre occurred on the 28th of April 1996. There are many questions around the incident, in which low-level functioning and autistic Martin Bryant perpetrated. An alternate theory many have relates to a quote by an Australian politician, Barry Unsworth, quoted as saying it will take a massacre in Tasmania before we get gun law reform in Australia. Some people believe it's evidence of planning the incident. But there were moves and legislation already passing on Australia's mainland to limit gun ownership and to change the fact you could readily buy semi-autos for $265 Australian dollars. Unsworth was, apparently, expressing frustration at Tasmania's reluctance to agree to the same law changes. Then the Port Arthur incident happened 8 years later. Having said that, there are interesting inconsistencies surrounding the tragedy. Mostly taboo here, like 9/11 to many people in the USA. If you have a question, you're shouted down or told you're disrespectful, so it feels like anything other than the narrative will never be investigated, let alone accepted. I haven't looked into it for a very long time, but there are probably still alternative websites that discuss theories about the day, multiple gunmen, headshots on moving targets from a mentally incapable man etc. Hey, Aussie Karen sounding off in the comments, have you ever fired a gun? Jusine, do you know the population of the USA, compared to Australia? Are you aware of the statistics/percentages regarding how many psychopaths operate in a society at any given time? Did you know there are far more firearms than citizens in the country? Did you know about the gun laws already existing in states with the highest gun crimes, e.g. NY or Chicago? Making a comparison between the two countries is ridiculous. I heard some beta at my slave gig trying to explain what 2A was. He said it was put into place by founding fathers and they meant muskets, but now American citizens want to buy assault rifles. The thing is, it may have meant muskets at the time, but they were the AR-15s at the time. I should have asked him to define what he believes an assault rifle is too. The amendment was written so that the regular citizen was on level playing ground with the government, so that if the government turned tyrannical, it could be stopped. By those rights, USA citizens should have tanks and nukes. Out of reach, due to cost etc., but that is what it means. LOL, look at where I'm from. The politicians elected by the people, turned around and took away their jobs unless they got an experimental injection. So many people lost their livelihoods and jobs on a whim by people who will never know what it's like. These politicians, won't name the treacherous clown bastard, have kids in schools and they're the only children with mask exemptions while the regular pleb children have to breathe dirty air all day. Source, some angry parent on a message app, that got the facts from her kid in the class, but still, The government still makes us wear masks on public transport here. Up until a fortnight ago, they were making citizens scan a QR code to log their whereabouts everywhere and didn't allow unvaccinated citizens into restaurants, movie theaters, hospitals, etc. Only a person with a letter of appointment to the hospital was allowed in after they completed temperature tests, signing in/scanning and answering questions about whether they had traveled lately. All stores have a one-way in, one-way out policy. Still. And all this is for two reasons. 1. The people around me are apathetic, innocent and willfully ignorant. 2. They don't know they have rights. The government works for Oz. And if some wanker in an ivory tower signs a piece of paper, you don't have to jump. Every right is worth fighting for, because if you don't try and stop them when you can, they will take more and more ground. I've seen evidence of it even in just my lifetime. I support gun owners of the USA. Making blanket laws to confiscate the law-abiding citizens' pastimes, fun, protection, is usually one of the first moves of a communist, dangerous government if you care to follow history. Taking away a legal firearm is like asking your male friend to cut his dick off because a woman was raped on the other side of the country. I think celebrities who call for gun control should STFU when they have armed security around them and on call. Rules for thee and not for me strikes again. How entitled and egotistical. When I hear a noise outside my house, my options are, hide, or run and call the police. Then wait until they arrive, hoping I don't get yeeted in the meantime and hoping they don't wait outside for me to get killed before they do what they're trained for. Like they did at Columbine, like they did with the most recent shooting in Texas. Source, CDC 2022. The guns here were taken a couple of generations ago. Even though there are shootings every day in this country, it's considered gun-free. You can get/buy/store firearms here, but usually you have to either be living semi-rural and require them for putting down animals/taking out natural predators, or you have to belong to a gun club and continue to qualify skill levels with target shooting. The safes have to be inspected by authorities for safety, locking ability, etc. And if it's in your home, your fucking ammo has to be stored somewhere else in the house. It's not allowed to be stored near the firearm. For example, a couple of states in Australia, New South Wales and Tasmania, firearms must be stored in a gun safe that is not easily penetrable. Category A and B firearm safes can be constructed of hardwood or steel, although steel is preferable. If the safe weighs less than 150 kilograms when empty, it must be fixed to the framework of the premises. It must be fixed securely and must house the firearms with a lock of sturdy construction. Ammunition storage must be in a separate lockable container/compartment to that of any firearm. Western Australia, the firearm must be stored in a steel gun safe that is deemed not easily penetrable. The safe must be fixed to the framework of the premises via the floor and rear. It must be fixed securely and must house the firearms with a lock of sturdy construction. Ammunition storage must be in a separate lockable container/compartment to that of any firearm. Safecentral.net.au. So, I guess if you're in a bad situation and you need that ammo, you'd better be a fast runner. So here it is. I do believe in gun control as it stands, for this country, at this time. Yeah, I said it. Here's why. When we, Aussies, see firearms, they're used in films by cool guys or the bad guys. IRL, they're used by bikies, Hells Angels people, in crimes we hear about sometimes. They're so taboo, mysterious and overblown, that I believe if somehow the law was instantly changed, and we were allowed to carry, we would see the issues they, apparently, took the guns away to prevent. I believe firearms would fuck people up, because they've never seen a real one, held one or fired one, might be too much for the majority to handle. There would first be a shit ton of suicides. Then I think there would be many accidental/unintentional shooting deaths, because everyone here doesn't know how to respect this newfangled contraption daddy government has bestowed upon them. Gun-related crime would go up gradually, people robbing others and hitting servos late at night like they already do with knives and syringes. Shitty people are shitty people, doesn't matter what kind of weapon they are holding, then we will have a few murders. Again, we already do. Google Sydney gun crime or similar, and welcome to the world you conveniently ignored to push your gun control utopia, Karen. Having been held up at gunpoint, in a country where there are apparently no guns, I can tell you, Karen, that criminals don't follow laws. But the fact there isn't as much crime as reported, for e.g. in the USA, probably comes down to the fact we have only 26 million people in this country, and nearly all of that percentage is scattered around coastal areas. If we had the population of the USA, when we do, then you will probably wish you had access to a personal firearm for protection. If you can, Aussies, learn. At least learn how to load, take off the safety and shoot. Cleaning is another thing. But please, do it. Even though we have to go to a range and have that fucking T-bar. What's a T-bar? I hear the Americans say. It's when you go to a shooting place and they come in, put the gun on the T-bar for you, screw it on and then shut the door behind you. There is a camera which records film and audio, and the firearm doesn't move more than a cm in any direction, so you can't shoot yourself or someone else. When targets are shown to you/approach, you fire. To fire, you pull the gun up, attach to the big metal T-bar, and hold it, and the fucking chains, all there while you try to look down a sight to send one. It's shit. The times I've done it still gave me a good group, but it's shit. There are many other laws I believe have been built as a trial run for a global cabal to execute plans down here in Australia, but this one bothers me most the last few weeks because Australian journalists have repeatedly used the deaths of children to get clicks and to force comments on their articles. TLDR, shut up, Karen. USA citizens, never give them up. Buy more in honor of the fact I can't.